room, giving him high fives, and he seemed like he was in pretty good spirits coming into the day. He said it was a relief that the injury wasn't as bad as it was. It was a groin strain, a left groin strain, so we don't know what he's going to be. It says day-to-day right now. We'll have to see what that timetable looks like as we get a bit of a clearer picture. But now it's about all the other guys. How can they step up, do what they need to do until Apollo comes back, and try and rattle off a few wins?
Magic have been a much better team over the course of the last 7 games. They've won 5 of those 7. I mentioned the offensive and defensive rating. They're also 4th in rebounding percentage over the last couple. And to me, that is something that Orlando should dominate. With our size and with our athleticism, I think we should be a top 5 rebounding team on either side of the ball. We are a very good offensive rebounding team, 13th as far as total offensive rebounds go. But when you make it pace adjusted, and when you start to consider the way that we take away offensive rebounding from the opponent, which was a big strength last season, it's something the Magic have done very well. But it was something the Magic did very, very well against New York the other night. You're talking about a team with Karl Anthony Towns and a healthy Mitchell Robinson. He only played 17 minutes. But to out-rebound that group 49-37, I think that was a big swing in that game. This is a Nets team that comes in tonight dead last in total rebounding and dead last in defensive rebounding as well. They're not a bad offensive rebounding team, but that's because they're a terrible shooting team, and there are a lot of offensive rebounds to be had. So this is a team tonight that I feel like as soon as that shot goes up, because they're going to get a ton of threes up, they're 5th in the league in three-point attempts. Jamal Mosley always talks about shot goes up. Before you do anything, you find your man and you hit him. And it's one of the things that I love Coach Mosley for. He always sort of errs on the side of physicality. And when you get into the postseason, that's exactly what you want. But this Brooklyn team, what they want to do is get a bunch of threes up, and they want to try to junk the game up. And so if they can get us into foul trouble and march to the free throw line or get under our skin with some physicality, that's what Nick Claxton, that's what Noah Clowney, that's what those guys are going to do. Daron Sharp off the bench, he's a bruiser as well. So I think tonight the physicality is something that should play in our favor, but it's something you got to look out for sure with this Brooklyn squad.
And now I'm understanding these Mosleyisms: defending without fouling, knowing your personnel, guard, sit down and guard, know your man. Those are all of the things. That's why he said it, because he knows this matchup is going to be really physical. And both Magic and the Nets, super physical teams, so we'll have to see what happens.
Yeah, and anytime it seems like Coach Mosley is playing against one of his buddies, and he and Jordy Fernandez go way back, they were assistants together in Cleveland, it always feels like there's a little bit extra, just a little bit extra sauce in there. Just a little bit extra spice between the two. Brooklyn, look, they have taken on their head coach's personality, even going back to last season. And Jordy Fernandez, like I said, he's one of my favorites. He's a dog, and he is head coach of the Canadian national team, and he's a guy who I think is one of the best young coaches that we have in this league. It'll be interesting to see if 3-4 years from now, when Brooklyn can see this whole thing all the way through, like where are they? Is Jordy Fernandez still there? Because we did it right. We told Coach Mosley, you're going to have a chance to see the whole thing all the way through, and a lot of times people get impatient because building this thing up from the ground up is difficult. I mean, this is not a very good team right now. They've got a lot of young talent, and even a lot of the guys that they drafted had 5 first-round picks. A lot of those guys are not with the squad right now. They're on G League assignment, so they've had a lot of first-round picks taken recently, and a lot of those guys are developmental picks, and so that doesn't help you right away. They might be really good 3 or 4 years from now, but it's going to take them a while.
Yeah, when you have a team with 5 rookies, 5 second-year players, and then even some of your veteran players like Cam Thomas is out today with that hamstring strain, it's tough. You got to be able to navigate those highs and lows together. You see it across other leagues and across other teams, but when you're the youngest team in the NBA, you never know what's going to happen. And that's the thing about this team. Yes, they're 1-10. They got a win against the Pacers about a few weeks ago. They've been 0-3 since that stretch, but you can't overlook any other team in the NBA, especially in the NBA Cup, because teams have been able to use it as a springboard for the rest of the season.
With a week ago, we sat up here and we were talking about the passing of Richie Adubato, and now as the week has gone by, it's occurred to me just how often I say things that Richie used to say. And when a team like this used to come in, Richie would say, they drive Mercedes too.
Yeah.
And you got to remember, you're playing an NBA team They've got some really damn good players as well. Very young for sure, but these, anytime you think, okay, this will be a good opportunity for us to, as we see Jalen Suggs going and hanging out with a whole bunch of kids, and they just lost their mind over there. I love to see that stuff. Anytime you got a group coming in that it feels like, kind of an overlook type game or a trap game, this team has typically been pretty good at minding their P's and Q's and respecting their opponent, whether or not it's a really good team or, a team that's been scuffling a little bit. Last thing before we go. This fellow from Russia who came out of BYU, who I really liked, he was the 8th pick in the draft. I thought it was Igor Demon. And then last year I heard some people say Igor Demon or Igor Demon. Those all seem like pretty clear explanations and pretty easy leaps. Yegor Diomin, according to the pronunciation guide. When you look at that, do you say Yegor Diomin anywhere?
I mean, I know there's like 2 dots above the I and Diomin.
Geoman.
Now you got me confused.
Trust me.
On who this. Now I should know who that is.
I'm gonna have to keep
especially because it's BYU
this.
and they knocked out my Badgers last year in March Madness.
Yeah.
But I think he should be starting tonight.
Tyler, Karen, and I had so many conversations about Yegor Diomin last year because we're nerds, and nobody. And then we listened, and then we watched him, and he had a nice little run. BYU made what did they get? Sweet 16. Made a little run in the tournament. He was playing well. I kind of had him circled on, maybe he's a guy who could fall to us. He ended up shooting up, going top 10. I didn't hear a soul call him Yegor Diomin. And I still haven't until I cracked the pronunciation guide on Media Central today. So there you go. If you hear me struggling tonight, it's because I'm referencing my notes and I'm going Geoman when it looks very clearly like Demon or Demon. All right, it's 5:48. I think we're good to go. We apologize for the tech problems. You never quite know what's going on when you're in the land of streams, but we appreciate you guys for hanging in there and sticking with us on Facebook, on TikTok, on YouTube, all the various streaming platforms. Chrissy Birdsall right here. My name is Jake Chapman. Again, radio broadcast coming up tonight, 6:30 on 104.5 FM here in Central Florida. You can always stream us on the iHeart or Orlando Magic apps outside of the listening area, which is 75 miles around the radius of downtown Orlando, if you're wondering. Outside the listening area, you can stream us on NBA League Audio Pass, total brain fart, on NBA League Audio Pass or on Sirius XM as well. We will talk to you guys next week at